We are back on the Vintage Talk Show with the Fudge. And I've been chatting with Tokumbo Jekunle and Alex Ogundadegbe. Of course, Esife has been on the sidelines. And we are moving on to our main interview section, talking points. We have as our guest this morning, retired Navy Commodore, former military intelligence officer, ex-deputy director of Defense Administration at the Defense Headquarters, now a professor of global security studies and head of Department of Criminology, Chrisland University, Abeokuta in Ogun State. It's a great pleasure to have you this morning.
Yeah, good morning, and
Doctor
thanks for having me.
Kunle Olawunmi, good morning. Yeah,
Good
thank you,
morning.
sir.
Good morning.
Thank you. Prof, you probably have listened a little bit to our discussion on the supplementary budgets with 500 billion allotted seemingly to dealing with our security issues. It's almost an overwhelming situation for us. Yeah. Do you believe that fund will be adequate? Will you subscribe to such amount, or how it could be used effectively to stem the insecurity in the land?
Thank you very much for that question. I know that my years in the military has proven to me that usually those monies are not used for what they are meant for. Recall that I was also a deputy defense attaché to about 8 European countries between 2003 and 2007, 4 years. One of my principal duty was to monitor and provide, enablement for Nigeria to be able to purchase arms and ammunition. So I operated in France, in Spain, Portugal, Italy, Belgium, Israel, Hungary, and other countries, about 8 of them. So usually my job is to ensure that we get arms for our fighter jets, our warships, artillery pieces, armored vehicles for the Nigerian army. But I will tell you a story. There was a day a man walked into Nigerian embassy in France, and he requested to see the defense advisor. Unfortunately, that the defense advisor was in Italy, so I was deputizing. And I said, how can we help you? And he said he's in France to buy rockets for our MiG fighters. And I look at this man, and I couldn't believe it because there are ways that arms, the procedures are very hectic, and it's always G to G. G to G means government to government, And here I was facing an individual who has come to buy rockets for the MiG fighters. And I have to quickly call the ambassador and ask the man to sit down because I thought he was a fraud. So eventually we discovered that it is actually true that this guy has been given money in Nigeria he has been given a contract to buy those rockets, and they told him those things can be found in France. So what you need to do is to go to the Nigerian embassy and see how you can get it, And I told him, this is not going to happen. You cannot come with cash and you want to buy a rocket. Nobody's going to sell it to you. But that's what they told him. So this gives an example of how our defense budget is spent. They just share it to themselves, to their cronies, and they go cap in hand looking for where to buy this thing, like they want to buy tomatoes or pepper, or they want to buy, So it's a joke. And we wrote a report back to Nigeria, and they seem to be aware, But having said that, the challenge, I think, with defense budget is the oversight responsibilities by the Senate. This has created room for a lot of fraud, corruption, and we often do not get what we want. I give one or two examples again. I was an attaché in France, I mean, in Israel as well, because I was covering Israel. Um, then we had problem with our coastlines, where you have all these militants operating freely, bunkers, oil thieves,
Yeah.
and we made a proposition to the government, just like you are talking about this judge. If we get there, we make some comments about it. We make proposition,
Okay.
and we wanted a total radar coverage of Nigerian water. Meaning we want to cover our waters from Badagry to Calabar to Bakassi, and deep into the sea, up to like 200 nautical miles, which is the EEZ of Nigeria. The EEZ means Exclusive Economic Zone of Nigeria, so that we can sit comfortably in our operation rooms and monitor what goes on at sea. That's what advanced countries do. I remember I was sent to Brazil and we went to check what they had, and they have a very huge maritime control center. So Nigeria wanted to do the same, and I think it was suggested that maybe we go to Israel. So we went to Israel. I mean, not my office, but Nigeria went to Israel. I don't want to mention on air. I could have mentioned the Minister of Defense that did that bad job there. He went to Israel and met a company that is called Aeronautics. You can Google it. Aeronautics offered Nigeria, okay, they will give us what we want. And they wanted to give us also two maritime patrol aircrafts, helicopters, and the radar coverage, because you cannot just see something. If you see something at sea, let's say like 50 nautical miles at sea, you need to now go to investigate what is going on there. So we needed two maritime patrol aircraft, some UAVs, and so on. And I also would not like to mention the amount, because as the deputy defense attaché, I have access to all these files. The amount was huge in euros, and they offered to give us. And as the attaché, I was based practically in Paris, so I flew um, to Tel Aviv to see how far the contract has gone. And I was surprised to find out that after the contract has been signed and sealed, our Nigerian politicians went to tell them that, oh, they should, first of all, they inflated the contract hugely. Let's say something supposed to be like 10,000. They've already inflated to like maybe 100,000. They've chopped the one top. They also went back and said, okay, they should remove the maritime patrol aircraft, that we don't need it, and give them the money. So they cut off the maritime patrol. I'm talking about real case. So, and people can also check or verify what I'm saying. And that's why we don't have maritime patrol aircraft today. So they cut it off. They also cut off the UAVs, practically cut off everything except the consoles. The consoles are the radar system, that the monitor. Then the radar systems were still there. And I think when I'm very careful not to mention names. When another government came, they reviewed the contract again and paid another money. And they never still got these items.
Wow.
And practically, as I'm talking to you today, this is 2023, we never got those items. It was fully paid for. They shared the money. They were still not satisfied. They still went back and cut off all the things that they're supposed to buy. And at the end of the day, they just abandoned the product there. So if I remember very well, I think in 2004, I was now asked to lead a team. So I led a team of the Chief of Naval Staff. I will still not mention names. And some very senior naval officers, experts in their field. And we went there and we actually physically saw our items on the ground. And they said Nigeria has refused to come for those items. and it has been paid for. And they were begging us to please come and take it because it's becoming an issue because the warehouse we have to start paying for demurrage for keeping those things there. I can assure you that as of today, we never picked those items. We paid for them.
Wow.
The contract was
Wow.
awarded second
Wow.
time, and perhaps almost the third time. We kept on re-awarding the contracts, and people they were just sharing the money.